Hi, I'm Ted WIGZELL from Your Business Community with the latest edition of TED Listens. I'm here today with Arif Punjani from MattL Accountants. Welcome, Arif. And my first question is, what does 2025 hold in terms of taxation for small business owners?
What a question. To begin with, there has been a lot happen post Rachel Reeves budget last year. For the businesses, in essence, the corporation tax is between the 19 to 25%. However, the benefits of the startups would still go with the EIS and SEIS scheme, which is Enterprise Investment Scheme and Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme, helping for the startup businesses to attract more investment, as much as it's equally beneficial for the investors as well to invest because they get a tax relief. There's also a tax relief on the R&D side. However, onto the personal side of the individual inheritance tax, the brushing off the 40% up to a cap of £1 million for all the farmers, as in the agriculture property relief and the business property relief, has had a massive impact on all the businesses. So if I were to have a UK business worth, say, 9 million, I really have to think that anything over $1 million will be subject to inheritance tax of 40%. So all of a sudden, from September last year, my 8 million is exposed to 40% inheritance tax, which is a huge sum. That's more on businesses taking proactive measures, and gone are really the days of old style accountants whereby you would meet once in a year, here are your books, pay your taxes. Those days have really gone out of the venue. You really need someone who is actively looking into your affairs, proactively rather, obviously, but prior to the year-end finishes, instead of you discussing 9 months post year-end, because by that time, whatever had to happen has happened.
Yeah, so it's too late. So you need someone to hold your hand throughout the year rather than just at the end of the year. Just tell me a little bit more about R&D. We both know it means research and development, but there's been a lot of noise about that being abolished.
Yeah, I mean, purely because in the last few years, I myself, we have acquired a small R&D acquisition 3 years ago. Having said that, there have been a lot of abuse of the R&D relief, unfortunately by a lot of rogue advisors and not so qualified accountants, and the amount of claim that had gone through with the revenue. That revenue had earlier passed them stating they are all correct, eventually realizing that they are not correct, and hence they've gripped the tighter version of releasing that R&D relief so that each and every claim has been processed thoroughly. In essence, R&D goes to the fact that it doesn't have to be innovation entirety. It could be anything as far as it's not readily available in the market. So for me, as an accountant, if I'm coming up with a service which is not readily available in the market, or is available, however, my process would be a game changer in the industry. And I don't have to be successful at it, as long as I'm working towards it. Because R&D cannot be successful. If you are trying to say, okay, I'm coming up with, say, a circle-shaped PV, and in a year's time you come up, then that's clearly not an R&D. An R&D is something, a trial and error. As long as you can prove it, that's happening within your business, then you would be eligible for the R&D, irrespective of the outcome. On the contrary, as a matter of fact, on the contrary, the failure could add more to the fact that it was an R&D as opposed to success initially the first or second time.
So as we've discussed previously now, there's lots of noise around R&D. I've said that expression already, but as you know, we get into government and meet MPs to explain small business needs. And this was the previous government, but I'm sure it has moved into this government as well. The previous government was saying they were authorising R&D tax credits without checking them because there's such a backlog. And one, I won't name the MP, actually said it's ridiculous that we're approving people that are putting avocado in sandwiches. And it's obviously a point to make, but yeah, it's not understanding the need of small businesses.
So much so that even the business such as newsagents and chicken shops have applied for the R&D relief and they have got it, notwithstanding without having any bias towards it. They could be doing the R&D, but it's very, very difficult for me to understand how a chicken shop or a newsagent could do an R&D. But yeah, those days have gone. Now they have been more vigilant around the fact that each and every claim is being scrutinized thoroughly. And hence, as a result, the reliefs have gone down slightly as a result of their past action of passing all the claims, turning a blind eye towards it. But the R&D is still there. The relief is still there, but you need to really prove that you are eligible for it, particularly for the new businesses.
Any accountant can say they're capable of doing an R&D tax claim, but I know that you're an expert in that field, and explain to our viewers why they should come to you and not just their own accountant.
Well, first of all, to begin with, whether it's R&D or for any particular service that you were to approach to an accountant to begin with, the accountant is not just giving you an off-the-shelf service, and that those days I've mentioned have clearly gone. It's a service, it's not a product. Even product these days are different, but a service cannot be similar to two different businesses, even though they could be the same industry with the same level of turnover. They are different businesses, hence they have to be bespoke. Before taking up any client, we look at the client expectations first as to what they want to do in their business in the next few years. Look at the structure as to where they are. Could there be any value addition from the taxation side? Have all been factors been looked into? So it's something that is holding their hands throughout the journey, at the beginning as well, but throughout the journey, rather than sitting with them end of the year, post 9 months of 12 months, stating, here is your affairs, pay your taxes, thank you very much, see you next month, see you next year rather. And that's really not a service, that's just, you're taking a tick box for the necessary evil that is going on. And you really can't do much with this kind of service.
That's almost just a bookkeeper, isn't it?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And just lastly, and we touched upon it earlier before we were on air, tell us a little about grants and probates, wills, grants and probates, because I was telling you, my father died in 2017, and he died without a will, and that took more than a year for the probate claim to come through,